I don't want to believe shit. If it doesn't hurt me, it shouldn't be such a big deal.
I want to know right now on this podcast, who is running this country?
There's a bunch of different factions that you call the government.
History, science, education, energy, everything has always been controlled by the government since day one. CIA!
Oh, look at the time.
Illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan.
If you look into the experiments to prove that the Earth is spinning, all of them failed. Look into it.
What do you do?
You just
You
haven't
think
looked
the
into
Earth
it. If you look into it and you have proof that it is round, instead of going, oh, some scientist figured it out, somebody figured it out, but you figure it out. You try to figure it out.
No, it
No,
seems like
because when
people
they
would.
look into it, it's common sense. When you look into it,
Ladies and gentlemen, black helicopters have been spotted. 221. Holy shit. 219. 219. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was the goal weight.
Man, I'm never gonna do it. Get the tape measure for tomorrow.
Get the tape measure. What's the fucking tape measure?
Wow. What a cheap piece of shit.
What a cheap piece
Jesus.
of shit Ari is.
220.
Fuck me.
220 for Bert.
For 1 pound?
1 pound less.
1 fucking pound? You fucking dick.
216. Tom gets it running away, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to do the Puerto Rican beard.
I'm gonna fucking shave it off
Oh,
anyway.
the prince. This is the prince. Puerto Rican guy beard.
Yeah.
That's so racist. That is so racist.
It came up first. It said Puerto Rican facial hair.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy.
That's what's up, dude. You're getting that.
Doesn't sabotage things. Maybe the new Bert with this new
Oh,
beard.
I'm already uncomfortable with this.
He's giving you a Hitler.
I'm not.
He's giving you a Hitler, son. Oh my God, this is so stupid. What's wrong with us? We're all adults. What the fuck is wrong with us?
It looks so cool.
Oh my God. Bert, can I please see it?
Wait,
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So you're doing the Prince. Now. What are you doing to
I got
him?
so much hair in my mouth.
You look really good, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. You're going to like this.
That's actually not bad, and I'm not
For real?
bullshitting. You look
Oh my
good,
God,
dude.
this feels
You know what? And here's
so
the
fucking
thing,
weird.
man. Look at yourself.
Oh my God! I look like I work at Planet of the Apes. I look like a fucking monkey.
No.
No, I do. This does not look good.
You look like you definitely live in your hometown. You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got a Pennzoil tattoo.
We can start another contest. I'm totally comfortable with that.
It seems like Bert wants to start another contest.
I want to start another contest. I want Ari to be involved too, because I like Ari's Welching.
What does that mean?
Well, there was stakes, man. Like you're supposed
No,
to.
you're 100%
You had
right.
to. You lose your beard.
Listen.
You had somebody.
Oh, yeah, true.
Welch on
Yes,
a bet.
true.
You had
I
all
know
these
what
things.
that bet.
I did.
You know goddamn well that was on bet. You told me I was a Welcher when I just asked for a measurement of height. And when they got the measurement, he was clearly lying. No apology. No, it turns out Ari was right to ask for this.
How many tweets did you get calling you a Welsh?
A lot of them. I know Welsh. Boston. It'll keep you
I
alert.
want to say like 5 hours. You would have to really prepare.
No, he doesn't have time. No time for that.
If he's willing.
I want to see what he's in shape right now.
So wait, you
You'd have
get
to really prepare to do 5 hours. I think you could do it. I'm not saying you couldn't do it. If,
No, we're not
if
giving you a year, idiot fuck. You're gonna do it. When's the next marathon you can get in on? What city are they gonna be in that you're gonna be in? San Diego, LA included.
Idiot fuck.
Because, like, say next weekend, if I had a girlfriend, she might say, "It's Friday. What are we doing?" I'm like, "Oh, watching me write for 4 hours." And so that's not the way to be. You can't do that. And so
Right.
I can't be a good person's other half because the work has always attracted me more than coming home to someone.
Wow.
Like I can't stand the idea of living with a person. I can do it on the bus because it's Das Boot and we're, going down the road. But I never would want to wake up and she's there. And I have no aversion.
The fucking expression that you just made, where you look to your right, she's there.
Well, it's every day. Here we are together, and I'm
Right.
just not wired that way.
So, so he's the main figurehead, right? He's the main guy, right up with Miscavige, right? And then John Travolta is somewhere in that.
I think John was given what a designation called Kakan, where
Kakant?
Kakan, not cunt.
Kakan.
Yeah.
Kakan. Okay.
K-H-A-K-H-A-N. Kakan.
Okay.
Okay. He's given this designation of Kakan, which there's a policy that basically says you can kill another human being. If you are Kakanned, you're going to look the other way. And he was given that. He was given that by L. Ron Hubbard. Don't make me laugh because you're going to make me pee.
So imagine thousands of emails come out with them talking about we'll have the kids ready 6, 7, and 8 in the hot tub at this time, and they're.
I didn't see anything like that.
Oh, it gets really crazy.
Where did it say that?
It was in
Whose
the emails. There's freaking thousands of them.
But it said we'll get the kids in the hot tub?
Yes.
I never saw that. Can you see if you could find that, Jamie? That seems like.
I go, it's so confusing now. The libs, you confuse everything. And nobody knows what bathroom to use. And I go, I was at a nightclub the other night. Here's the ladies' room right here, and the men's room was right next to it. And there's a pile of shit in the middle between the two doors with a tampon stuck in and a fake mustache.
And it won't last long.
Hold
on the
up.
show.
Immediate head rush, by the way.
Really?
Oh,
by the way, don't
yeah.
inhale it. Just puff it.
Too late.
Well,
I'm a pot smoker, bro.
well,
I
you don't
inhale
want to
everything.
inhale that. There's no filter on that.
What are you, pussy?
But often it's mind-blowing when you learn that some infinities are bigger than others. Joe Rogan just leaned 2 feet away from the microphone.
And the properties of each of those regions, whether they're conducive to forming galaxies and stars and planets and people, may be different. So we could say, logically in that picture, that the reason the universe looks like the way it does is because we're here to measure it.
Oh my God, we should leave it at that.
Okay.
We should close with that. That is the mind blower of mind blowers.
Good. And you know Iron Man has that blue thing in his chest?
Yeah.
I don't think women are evil. Women are like Iron Man. They're magic, right? But by ripping out that blue thing, you're ripping out their ability to have children and be mothers and everything. And then you put in a piece of shit into Iron Man's chest. That's what feminists and like this woman are. They're shit chests. And they're malfunctioning robots, and they're like, bzz, bzz, kill him. Milo wants genocide. Kill him. Bzz, bzz,
So
fuck
do you
him
think
up.
that they're imitating what they think are patriarchal societies? They're doing their version of it, and that's what they're doing with the whole matriarchal posturing?
Yeah, it's like Clark Kent. I want to write an article. I'm writing. No, you're not writing it. And you go, Clark, simmer down, dude.
I look at the things that I went through as a gift because I have gotten the gift of feeling retired during my career. Who else gets that? Some people retire for 5 years, lose their freaking mind, end up in the bar, and come back and try to fight again 10 years later.
With a weakened body.
A mess.
From abuse, yeah.
Why?
The mind,
Why,
yeah.
though? Why are they doing that? They're not doing it because they're physically capable. They're doing it because they never dealt with their life away from fighting. Fighting was their life. Fighting is who they are. Fighting is their persona. So take away fighting, what are they? They're in the bar, drinking away what they're not. Instead of drinking, putting the booze down and knowing what you are without fighting, being happy with that chapter of your life and being able to live who you are. I've gotten to feel that. And now I can fight with a peace of mind knowing how good I am without fighting and how great I am with it too. And that's what this thing's about. All these fights, me attacking those challenges, coming back and winning and getting my belt back. that could only happen because I let go of control of the things I couldn't control.
Yeah,
lazy
Chatty would be the
bitch.
first, man. I think about that kind of stuff. Like if a plane crashed, I already know I'm planned ahead, dude. I'd eat a Vietnamese guy.
Why?
Because that's easy. It's a starter move. If you attack somebody bigger, if you eat somebody bigger in front of other people, it's going to alarm people. But you
got to eat a small person, so stature is important.
I think if you gum down a Viet, people aren't going to be that upset at you.
Well, the
you know?
Vietnamese people are going to be super upset. What are you talking about?
No, they're
Somebody's
okay.
dad.
Yeah, they're more understanding of things, dude.
Is this a character you're playing?
No. But if you eat you eat a black lady and her family's there, they're going to be pissed.
So you think a Vietnamese person would let you slide?
I think that they'd be much more forgiving over a couple of day period.
I think
like their relatives. You don't think so? Honestly.
Well, one thing, no, I don't think so. I definitely think they'd be super pissed at you, especially modernized ones. But what is interesting is like Vietnam is one of the few places where Americans can go back to Vietnam and they don't seem to hold any grudge at all.
Exhibit A. Exhibit A, man, honestly.
Do you realize 87% Gallup poll came out last year and said 87% of the people on the planet are unhappy with what their life is all about? Unhappy. And 10% in addition to that, 87 to 97, hate what they do. So that leaves 3% of the planet enjoy what they do.
You're one of 3%.
Fuck, I'm one of the 100 millionth of a percent. I'm so happy I don't know whether to shit or go blind.
Yeah, so I end up, going to the restroom looking, there's shit caked all over. Everywhere. And I'm like, how did I shit myself? And it was like, it must have been in between rounds. This is disgusting. It's like, there's no trash can. It's like silk and gold in this beautiful palace and stuff. So I just take my panties off and just roll them up and shove them behind the toilet. I know. Seriously. Black lace thong. Vladimir Putin. That was mine. I want it back.
Wow.
No, I don't want it back. It's gross.
Oh.
And it was, in 2000. It was 10 years ago. That's crap.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then I just go back out there and it's like Berlusconi was hitting on me and trying to pick me up. And he was like, hey, can I be your boyfriend tonight? And I'm just like, what? But he's saying it through a translator. So it was so, and I'm like, I smell like shit. I was as cleaned up as I could be. I was like, you are a dirty motherfucker.
There was a war on drugs. We started a war on drugs. Turns out we're bringing it in. Then there's a war on terrorism. Turns out we created Al Qaeda. You understand why I'm crazy? I'm crazy because of that shit. I'm like, if that's real to you, man, shit.
You don't think it's real?
With fish-eyed lens. You guys are fooled by the fish-eyed lens? Come on, man. Is that what the fuck is going on with? I don't know. I don't know.
What, you think there's a conspiracy in the conspiracy?
And then they'll cut to Kim Jong-un.
Cult of the Moonies.
I'm not saying they're actors. I'm just saying there's something fishy about the whole North Korea thing.
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Rex is
Yeah.
a giant kangaroo. That's what it is. That's my guess. That's they found a giant kangaroo, and when they figured it out, they go, dude, it's a kangaroo. They're like, shut the fuck up. I told you, I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
But what's the advantage that it's not round?
You
gotta appreciate the hustle by Eddie.
You'd have
Alex
the
Jones is
ultimate
like a blue belt
show.
conspiracy theorist.
You'd have wow, I can't believe you said that.
But exactly, there's giant weather modification systems, and there's weather wars between different governments.
I want to know how he got. I want to know the story of how he got in. Is there a video out there?
Scientology? He's been in Scientology
No, but
forever.
how did he get in? We're allowing this to happen. It's like we want it to happen. It's like it's a CIA MK Ultra experiment.
Wait, what do you mean?
I always wondered how they're getting away with it. It's so out in the open. How come there isn't more
They're
arrest?
psychic vampires stealing the energy from the kids. We're taking these people on. We're bringing God back in. Even somebody that wasn't very religious like Trump has gotten religion learning about this. Because let me tell you something. Trump's not a devil worshiper, and he loves God, and he's been briefed on all this, and he's going to roll their ass up. So the pedophiles better get ready.
Do the Rothschilds even exist? That could be a conspiracy.
Can I say one thing?
The Rothschilds are a hoax.
I just know all this crap.
Well, you get crazy, you start ranting.
People won't listen to me because I got too much data. And you imagine what this is like?
You think that they would have dropped the ball big time, like Ernest Biner in 1987 for the Browns. They would have dropped the ball. If you don't have paid shills online, strategically pushing the agenda.
Wait a minute.
Humanity
the
is
pedophiles
only
are controlled of AI. How'd the pedophiles get in control of AI?
Okay, do you know that if you go to YouTube and you punch in Nikola Tesla hoax fraud, nothing comes up? Put in Albert Einstein hoax fraud, endless videos. It's
Albert was a freak.
Endless videos.
And there is a full-out war inside the government of guys that like to eat steaks, drink beer, and have women. versus a bunch of pot-bellied pedophiles.
Whoa.
I don't know what to believe, man. I don't know if the Rothschilds are real. I don't know if reptilians are real. I don't know if Satanism is real. I don't know shit.
Using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man. Full power. That's not full power.
No, okay, let's. That's about it, folks.
Are you kidding?
Good night,
I was
everybody.
a 27-time Taekwondo champion. If I give you full power, you're going to be in the hospital.
But no one has the time to do everything.
There's not enough time
to micromanage the entire world.
They're too busy.
That's right. It's just there's
not
only
enough
so
time.
much shit. You can let people take care of themselves.
People got lives. I get it.
You could let
They got
people take
ki-
care of
they
themselves.
Got, Illuminati got keys.
They got keys. Illuminati
I
got
get it.
keys.
It's not enough time for mind control experiments. There's too much shit going on.
I got to ask you this one thing before.
Sure.
It's because I read this and I was like, what?
Here we go.
You saw someone shapeshift?
Oh, God.
Is it? Is that real, or were you fucking with people?
No, it's true.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
Because when you told me that you enjoy Kaufman-like moments, I was like, okay.
No, it's
maybe.
true. I would tell you off grid, but I won't say it publicly.
Right, but I mean, has anybody been skeptical? Has anybody?
yeah, everyone's skeptical,
Right.
yeah.
And what's your response to that?
You don't know what I know.
Right. Well, what do you know, though, that they don't know?
I can't tell you some of the shit that I know.
But that jury is still out, so to speak.
What are the negative benefit or the negative effects of this?
This is an explosive area of conversation, and that puts my life in danger. So I reserve the right not to answer your question.
Whoa. I didn't expect that. It puts your life in danger talking about portobello mushrooms? He's looking at me silently. I will respectfully move on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, business does never encourage fine suits.
No pocket squares?
Occasionally you find a token pocket square, but you can tell their heart's not in it. The wife stuck it in there because she saw someone on TV that had a bit of razzle-dazzle about them, and they thought, oh, I quite fancy my old man wearing one of them, and they sort of stick it in. The old man's a bit embarrassed about it and tries to squeeze it out of the way. Suits are a thing. The death of the suit, it was the death of the suit, was the prosaic attitude toward, I'm going to work, and I've got to wear a suit.
Yeah.
I've got to put a tie on, and I don't want to stick out.
That's how I feel.
But that's what's happened. We've been brainwashed to not dress like gentlemen.
But I see a guy like you, and I say, that's appealing. Like, look how you're dressed. And you're in a conservative suit. This is a nice suit. Like, I'm sure you could wear any suit you wanted, but you chose a shirt that has a certain look to it.
Yeah, I have spent some time arsing around with this, Joe, but a bit like the same reason that we've spent time arsing around with the old pocket square. I remember thinking how much I found the suit repugnant, and I became angry that the suit had been robbed from us. And so I had to create an alibi, a way in, to understand why it is that I'd like a suit.
And you have many puzzles in front of you that you could solve, but you choose not to. You know, those are the things that weigh on your conscience. It's like, well, I should really do this, but you don't. It's like, so I had this idea a long time ago, because the world is a pretty dreadful place. I thought, well, what would the world be like if people stopped avoiding the things they knew they should do? Because the question is, how much are we contributing to the fact that life is an existential catastrophe and a tragedy? How much is our own corruption contributing to that? That's a really worthwhile question. Things you leave undone because you're angry, you're resentful, you're lazy, you have inertia. Well, you consult your conscience and it says, well, that place over there could use a little work. It's the same as working on yourself, and so you clean that up because you can, and then things are a little clearer around you, and you're a little better off because you've practiced a bit, and so you're a little stronger, and then something else manifests itself and says, well, maybe you could take a crack at fixing me up too. So you decide to do that, and then that gets a little bit more pristine, and soon, and it's humble because you're not exceeding your domain of competence. It's like, don't be fixing up the economy, 18-year-olds. You don't know anything about the economy. It's a massive, complex machine beyond anyone's understanding, and you mess with it at your peril. So, and can you even clean up your own room? No. Well, you should think about that. You should think about that. Because if you can't even clean up your own room, who the hell are you to give advice to the world?
And in the morning, this hooker, she just tells me like how much I owe her.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fucking outrageous. There's no fucking way. I was like, basically, I don't care if your fucking pimp wants to kick my ass and fucking kill me. I'm not paying that fucking much.
It was that much? How much was it?
I forget. It was so long ago. But yeah, I was outraged.
So was it negotiated beforehand?
It just wasn't in that case. I remember clearly. I was like, you want that much? And I said, I'll give you this much, and that's how much you get.
Whoa.
Period. And we came out, right, like I gotta go film, and walking through the lobby, Knoxville is down there having breakfast. This hooker comes walking by Knoxville and she says, "That's not Steve-O, that's Cheapo."
That would be the scientific approach. I don't know what it is, great mystery, let's just wait and see, versus I'm going to postulate a lost civilization. Nothing wrong with that, Graham. It's a free country, and scientists do this all the time, as you've mentioned.
There's a rather humorous thing, which I have to say. Actually, I might even ask Jamie to pull up the couple of images.
I mean, this is embarrassing, actually. I remember telling my parents that I wanted to change my name to Damian Monroe.
No!
Yes.
Wait a minute,
Imagine
that's
if
your
right
whole
now,
name? You want to change your full name?
From Chris D'Elia
to Damian
Monroe. Because Damian is the devil, right?
Okay.
And then Marilyn Monroe was like pure in my head.
Oh,
so I was like, you have
Jesus.
both. I would ask my parents, I would ask my parents because I always sat like this at the dinner table, and I asked them, I was like, can you call me Crazy Legs? And I remember thinking, like that would be cool. Like if my family called me Crazy Legs.
Hey, it's Damian Crazy Legs Monroe
So
coming
dumb.
at you.
And then they were like, and my dad was like, no. And I was like, but just like maybe just at least at the dinner table, I remember saying that. And you would be like, I'm not fucking calling you Crazy Legs. We named you Chris.
Well, you were talking about Tiger Woods on your podcast. I was listening to it on the way over here, and I totally agree with you. You're saying like when Tiger's world fell apart, like how the fuck do you know? Like, did you talk to him? Like, you don't know him.
You know, that's just a bunch of hype. Like
For him, it's like a double dump, though, you know? I mean, the thing happens personally with his personal life, and it happens publicly where everybody gets to see it, and then on top of that, his body's falling apart at the same time.
No matter
So it
what he
goes-
did.
Yeah, no matter
if
what
he
he
went
did.
to church every fucking week, he was going to fuck up his back and his knees, and they did. But then they're trying to equate it to, whatever it's like. What he did was none of my business. It's none of my fucking business. I don't want to know about it. I hate knowing about. I feel bad if somebody if their marriage falls apart. I feel bad if they get busted for drinking drop. I mean, it happens. If you fucked up and it's your fault, you should get punched. But like, the cops are handling it. They arrested him. The courts will handle it.
But they need to talk
Do I
about
need to
it.
pile on and start wagging my fucking hypocritical finger at him?
Yeah, like it's so immediate that you become other. You become an outsider. Like, in the next morning when we went back, I rang the doorbell.
To your own house.
And I had lived in that house from the day I was born.
Whoa. So
And-
you felt like you had to ring the doorbell.
Mhm.
Like, this is not my world anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Grace was like, "Why did you ring the doorbell?" And it was like, "There's no other. There is nothing else. Like, this is not our home. This is not." So we go and we're packing all of our things. It was awful. I had been in those 4 months. I had been so terrified of. Because knowing what was coming, like, just imagine you're going to lose everyone in your life. That you're just going to, like, you're not going to, like, how your parents met and fell in love, or like your grandparents, and family recipes and photos and memories, and what did the house look like? I'm like taking photos and voice recordings and just all the time, like, it's overwhelming. It's just,
So when you say something like, well, we should be attacking Islamism, as if it's something that is outside of Islam, that's simply false. Islamism is Islam, right? Erdogan, the prime minister of Turkey, and I can quote many other Islamic experts, said Islam is Islam. The term moderate Islam, Islamism, and all these other qualifiers are nonsensical. Now, the reason why that upsets me is because it grants people a false sense of security and hope. You know, Islam is wonderful, but we need to attack this separate thing called Islamism. Well, from day one, 1400 years ago, Islam was Islamism. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't a spiritual element. That doesn't mean that most Muslims just want to practice the spiritual part. But there is no set of doctrines in a separate book called Radicalized Islamism. It all comes from the same text. It comes from the Quran, it comes from the Hadith, and it comes from the Sirah, the biography of Muhammad. So this kind of false narrative that people are promulgating so that they seem as though they're not frontally attacking a religion, while laudable, while nice, I get that reflex, it's false.
I don't know if I talked about my dad with you, but he was my wrestling coach in high school. He was also my earth science, biology, and environmental studies teacher.
Really?
He was my teacher.
Oh, what a drag! You went to school
Yeah.
with your dad being the teacher.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking
But
hard.
I learned a lot because he was no joke. He didn't pull any punches for me.
Right.
He drove me as hard, if not harder, than his other students. He didn't show any favoritism. But one of the things that was always his thing on the mat, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but basically, you either win or you learn. Especially in that high school, college setting, you're learning about yourself. If you went out there and you got your ass handed to you, and you just got beat and didn't learn anything, well, yeah, you're a fucking loser. You take the moment, reflect on it, build on what you did wrong, and now you're actually, in a way, you've won. Now you know more about yourself. You know about more your limitations or what you need to improve and expand your talents or your limitations. So I guess whenever I'm doing a thing, I'm always looking at it from a learning perspective. So there aren't necessarily mistakes unless they're fatal. And then you wouldn't know anyway. So whatever.
Because you see him in a club and he sees some girls and he be like, "Hi, how you doing? You like BMWs?" The girls be like, "What? You like BMW? You like cars? You like BMWs?" And crazy, he'd take the girls out and go get a BMW. There was another guy standing on the wall, green jacket, like a green little jumpsuit. Nobody was talking to him. Guess who it was?
Who?
Jay-Z. Nobody knew. I said, "What's up, man?" "Yeah, what's going on? It's just a great party." You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't too long after that accident that he had, right? And then he goes, I got a song that you'll be good on. I got this song I know you could kill it." I was like, "Me? Song? Goofy Face? Wanda?" I called Robert. I said, "Listen, I need you to play a Mexican." He says, "Dude, here's the deal. Sure, fuck it. Sure, why not? Fuck it. Sure, of course. Sure, Mexican, whatever."
I did an Adam Sandler film. I don't know the last one he did, the Sandy Wexler. And you go up on the set, and Adam's starring in this film, and I'm not. You know what I mean? And I used to star in films, and it's a weird feeling for me. Like, I'm happy to be on the set, and I love Adam, and he's an old dear friend, and I'm super happy for him. But I was starring in films.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everywhere I go, people say, "Why aren't you starring in films? Like, what's up?" And like, I can't answer it. You know what I mean? Poor choices, the Weasel shit dried up. The movies didn't perform as well. I didn't listen to my agents. I wasn't like doing drugs. It wasn't like I got all fucked up.
It's just one movie didn't do so good, then the next movie didn't do so good, and then they eventually just stopped coming.
And he told us about when he shit in his backyard and somebody thought a bear had come.
I'll never forget the lady. She would she would let her dogs out every day at 5, and then she would clean up. They were all French poodles. When you shit outside, it's not going to be a decent shit.
Yeah,
it's going to be like explosive. So when I got up, it looks like somebody got shot in the head. They would shit all behind me on the wall. So she's sitting there with her little French poodles and her little chihuahuas, and she's looking at the wall like, "What the fuck happened there?" And all of a sudden, she actually walks up close to it and squints and looks down on it and looks around and runs in the house. I'm watching all this. I can't breathe.
Oh my God.
The best was the night I took a shit in Fabian's backyard after a 5-hour drive.
from Colton or some weird town.
Didn't he not talk to you after that for a
Yeah,
while?
for a while. I took a shit and then he ran over it with his car, and the whole backyard smelled like sewage waste. I go over there the next day. He goes, "It smells back here. Let's talk in the house." He goes, "I don't know what happened," and you can see the brown shit. He smushed it with this tire, and a bunch of flies were around. He didn't talk to me for a month after that. Who takes a shit in somebody's backyard?
How did he find out it was you?
Because I told him the truth. I felt bad. What am I gonna lie to the guy? I remember I was telling you guys that one time my freshman year I didn't take a shit for a week and a half. I was addicted to steakums with American cheese and a ride of French fries.
Wait a minute.
Listen to me.
How long is that? 10 days?
That's a long time, man.
When I was
How
a
are you
freshman,
alive?
I played freshman ball, and we were playing Patterson East Side. That's
Wait.
just a jungle of a school. Like, you got to be careful when you go in there. And we went there to play the Christmas tournament.
Wait, what kind of ball are we talking right now?
Basketball.
Oh, basketball.
And I hadn't taken a shit for like 10 days. I was backed up something. I took acid, something fucked my stomach up. And I didn't tell nobody. In those days, I was really scared of doctors, and I wouldn't say shit to nobody. And on the way home, we got on the bus. And while we were waiting there, my stomach started hurting. And I said, Jesus Christ, I don't know if I'm going to shit myself or fart, but let me just take a chance.
Good move.
And I blew this fart, Joe Rogan. That was so bad, right? We were on a bus, and people started running, the school buses? People started running to the windows, right? To swing down the bus windows. But here's what gets better. I farted again. And the teachers were going, "Oh my God, he's changing flavors." But the worst thing was the cheerleaders were crying. That's how bad it smelled. They were sitting in front of the bus going,
Wait a minute. He's changing flavors.
One of the teachers yelled out, "Oh my God, he's changing flavors."
There's a building that's still there on Franklin in Hollywood where Charles Manson used to live and run his whores out of, which I didn't know he was doing.
He was a pimp?
Yeah, pimping girls to people that were staying at the Roosevelt.
Now it's a Color Me Bad, right?
Color Me Mine is
Color
what you
Me
meant to say,
Mine.
but perfect. Color Me Bad's a band.
Like, and it's a hard one to learn because anything that's got an orgasm at the end of it, there's a degree of pleasure to be had.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to recognise what the emotional cost on me, the spiritual cost on other people, the fact that it's preventing me from becoming a father, from becoming a husband, from settling, from becoming rooted, from becoming actually whole, from becoming a man, from becoming connected. It takes a while to spot that. I think a lot of people don't get the opportunity to break out that pattern. I would never have spotted it had I not first been a heroin addict and gone, hold on a minute, you're doing that thing again. Same with fame and celebrity. Well toxic, exciting and brilliant, and loads of lovely people in there. And I still I might make another film. I don't know what will happen, but it's because I'd had the template and the experiences of, this is addiction. You're expecting this thing to make you feel better.
Harvey's an executive guy, right?
Mhm.
He's the guy, the money guy behind everything, and Coke and caviar and suck my dick. It's like
It is so nasty.
It's so gross.
But okay, now on the other hand, I was like, Hollywood is such a labyrinth in terms of getting shit done and getting deals closed and how does this happen. It would kind of be nice to be like, you want a Netflix special? Just go fucking suck that guy's dick. And then I could be like, oh, that's all I have to do is suck that guy's? Yeah, come over here, you nasty fuck. And then there's your special, right?
You know what? If you type in Astra, the TR3B, Astra TR3B. And I'll walk over there. Can I walk over there for a second? I'll show them which one it is.
Go ahead.
Is his mic on too?
Yeah.
So we can all talk to each other?
Sort of.
So what you want to do is come down here, and do your people get to?
They'll be able to see
They'll
it.
be
We'll
able
put
to
it
see
up on the screen.
So what this is? Well, I don't really want to tell you what it is, but I want you to watch it. You can't hear me right now. Is this? That's not it. One more page. I'll find it for you. Just takes me a second. There's a bunch of this shit. This is the craft, by the way. That's in. Did you spell it right? Astro. That's why. Sorry. Astra.
Oh, Astro. Astra, not Astro. If you're typing it at home.
That's right. We gotta make sure it's the right one.
So the 100-mile race that I was doing a month before Moab, at about
12 miles roughly to the finish line, my vision started blurring, like in the periphery. And over the course of the next couple miles, closed in until it was pure white. I couldn't see anything. Pretty much, I would say like 98% blind.
What?
I could see my feet, like right in front of my feet, but it was just white out.
When people heard about this, like their like problem with like clickbait journalism, the headlines look like it's like sexual misconduct stuff, and like I don't want to be like,
Right.
but like,
Let me just stop you right here. If you say like one more time, my fucking head's gonna explode.
oh, dude, I get comments like that.
It's brutal.
Is it brutal? Is it
Yeah,
as
it's
bad as?
brutal.
All right, I'm gonna.
I just want you to slow it down.
I'm gonna
Use it every now and then.
slip
but
this coffee
you're,
over
you're
here.
breaking the like meter.
And I'm not stupid. And so I said to myself, stop stuttering now. Stop stuttering now. I said that dozens, hundreds of times, over and over and over. And fortunately, the storms went past and held on to the tree. And soaking wet, I came out of the tree and walked back to where I was living. And then the next day, I got up. I didn't see anybody, and I was walking along on this path and a sidewalk, and there's a lady that I really liked a lot, and but she was always attracted to the super self-assured jocks and things like that. She was actually very kind and sweet, but I didn't want to stare at her in the eyes because I would stutter, and it's humiliating for us. So the more humiliating us stutterers feel, the more we stutter. And so it's a really slippery slope, and so I would avoid eye contact. And so for the first time, she walked towards me. She said, "Good morning, Paul. How are you?" She was always so nice to me, and I was terrified because I'd embarrass myself. And I looked at her straight in the eyes, and I said, "I'm doing fine. How are you?" And I stopped stuttering in one day.
Whoa.
And this speaks to now what was been medically proven is that we can reset the neurology of the human brain through neurogenesis. I believe that experience allowed me to map new neurological pathways that allows me to elocute in a way that I could not elocute before.
Used to hang out a lot with Dennis, and hadn't seen him for years. Was at a restaurant in Chicago not too long ago, and somebody said, "Oh, you guys are friends with Dennis, right?" Yeah. "Oh, he's upstairs." "Oh, really?" We go upstairs. Dennis is crying. "Oh my God, I miss you guys." Me and my buddy, we're hanging out with them, telling old stories. 7 or 8 years haven't seen him. It's great. Like when you see a buddy you really love and it's really affectionate. And Dennis is one of those people. At some point, he just gets up and he wanders away. I think he's going to take a piss. Okay. About 10 minutes goes by. I say to the waitress, "Did Dennis leave?" "Yeah, he left." "Oh, okay. I just figure he's gone. It's just the way he is."
Right.
He wouldn't even say goodbye. Just gone. I get up the next morning. I turn the television. Dennis Rodman's in North Korea. Okay. By the way, I spent an hour and a half with him. He didn't say anything about going to North Korea.
Oh,
right?
God.
So I turn on the television. It's like, very controversial. Dennis Rodman's in North Korea. So I text my buddy and I say, "Have you seen the news?" "No, what?" I say, "Turn on the television." And he said, "What channel?" And I said, "It doesn't matter." And 2 minutes goes by. Holy fuck. Because he went through the same thing,
And the radio program director came into my town new, and if you've ever been in radio, when they come into town new, the first thing they're going to do is change everything because they got to put their own stamp on it, or why are they there? So this guy comes in and he goes, "We're going to rebrand you." He goes, "I want everyone to think of your name and instantly think of the brand." And I'm already, The
brand?
Yeah, okay, so here's what he said. So I hate to say this because this will become a meme online that I will have to live with the rest of my life, but it's an absolutely true story. So the guy says to me, he goes, "Listen, imagine a billboard that says, Dan Carlin, he fucks chickens." And I said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Yeah, so that anytime anybody thought of you, they would think, okay, he's the chicken fucker." And I'm going,
"Wait a minute, really? He really said that?"
Yes. And I said to him, I said 2 things, dude. I said, the first thing is, I got to live in this town, right? So really, you want that to be the first thing people think? Okay. The second thing is, I got to have a career after this stupid idea of yours fails, right? And he's like, "No, you don't understand. We're building a mental image. You'll be a household name." I said, "Yes, I'll be the household name, the guy who fucks chickens." I said, and finally, he was after me. And I finally said, I said, "Dude, do you want to step outside right now?" And my wife laughed at me because I'm already an old man when I'm saying, she goes, "That would have been great." I said, "No, this guy was as old as I was." But I was so incensed and so angry that this guy would be so cavalier
with your future.
Well, yeah, and as a human being and everything.
Yeah. What is about that look, right? That like cover, pinup girl. That's what it's called. 1950s pinup girl type of look. What is it about that? That's so appealing.
maybe it makes fat chicks look good.
How dare you? Doug Stanhope, do you not realize?
It was a different day and age.
Oh, maybe.
Like, I didn't smoke blunts until I hung out with Charlie Murphy. He was one of the hardest deaths that I ever had to deal with.
Really?
Yeah, because I wish I contacted him more. I wish we got together more. But we were always on the road. And off stage, maybe one of the funniest guys of all time.
Oh man, he took me to dinner, and like he was telling stories. He told the story that I texted you to ask him when you had him on.
I'm supposed to ask you about Johnny Gill, who thought he could beat Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh yeah, man. Wow, how do you know
Somebody
about
told
that?
me. Somebody told me.
Wow, how do you know about that one, man?
I think it was Tom Segura.
He said that Johnny Gill
could
he goes,
fight.
We were looking at the screen, and it was Oscar De La Hoya. He's like, "You think Oscar De La Hoya could fuck you up?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Like, of course. He's like, "I know, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. He's a professional boxer. He would ruin your life." And he was like, "Johnny Gill thinks he could fuck him up." I was like, "What?"
That's back when Oscar was still, fighting too. That's what made me really angry. Like, Oscar was whipping somebody's ass, and I'm sitting next to a balladeer. I respect you. You're a good singer and all that, but don't point to no fighter and go, "I could whip him." I don't want to hear that, man.
He really said that?
Vehemently, man. It jumped up. I'm the fact that you brought it up. It ain't like I'm snitching. I told him, if I ever see you and Oscar in the same room, making sure that Oscar knows that you feel that way. I want to be there. I'm making sure he knows that you, a balladeer, crooner, said that you could whip him. Yeah, man. To me, that was the highest insult of the highest level, man. You make your money with roses flying in the air and all that, singing. You gonna look at a fighter and talk about I could whip him? Come on, man. He needs to know that. He needs to know you feel that way.
How about the fucking Mike Tyson tiger story?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that was a
fucking-
good story.
It's incredible.
Right? That's a man who one
Peace.
time I went to his house and it was 6 limos and nobody would get out the limo. And I said, "How come nobody's getting out the car?" They said, "You don't see that lion standing over there?" Mike Tyson had a lion in his front yard.
Like Hangover style.
That's the only man whose house I ever went over. There was a lion in the front yard, loose.
Wow.
And he was on the steps like this with a heavyweight belt.
What?
What? What? How come nobody wants to get out the car and play with my cat? He was like,
Oh
"No,
my
man,
God.
no, that's not a cat. That's a lion."
Charlie Murphy was at dinner with Maurice Smith, who's a former UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Ivan Salivary,
and we're all out at a restaurant, and Charlie is convincing everybody that the ridge hand, that y'all are sleeping on the ridge hand.
And he's explaining some particular martial arts move.
And they were laughing. They were trying to say, yeah, like.
And Charlie was like, "Nah, fuck you." He goes, "You tell me I don't hit you in the head with a ridge hand?"
But Charlie
But
stuck his fucking guns.
You know who used the ridge hand was the Iceman in one of the very first UFC joints. My man Chuck Liddell knocked out Yarborough with a ridge hand.
Chuck Liddell never fought Yarborough. He
fought some big giant dude.
Keith Hackney fought Yarborough.
And I was like, yo.
Yeah, he did though. He hit
ridge
him.
hand.
That's Charlie talking about the ridge hand. He's standing up. Look how wide his eyes are.
And
Crazy wide eyes.
Look at the smile underneath his left arm. Look at that guy laughing.
Look, we're all gonna go. This is the point. Like Ralphie, like Charlie, like everybody. We're all gonna go.
That if you could go faster than the speed of light,
right,
to the time, and then with a powerful enough telescope pointed at us to catch the light reflected, okay, you could use, just as satellite technology looks down on the Earth, you could see the reflection of the Earth from that time and visually prove everything you wanted to.
Whoa, what? The light that's coming from the Earth as you go away.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you would theoretically be looking at Earth at that point.
Right.
The reflection of the light.
It's as it's a million miles away.
Yeah. No. If you, the light from a thousand.
It's a good time to be alive, but as the human race, as a person, all of us, there's no one gets out alive. No one. The quicker we remember that, the better we'll all be. Did it not work?
I was cut off a couple times there.